morning, good afternoon, good evening, yWhales, wherever in the world you are today. So we have a really amazing podcast. It is October 17th. I cannot believe that the year has already just flown by. We're in, right here in Q4 23. The world is in, chaos as always. We just saw this really amazing kind of like push on Bitcoin where there was a false announcement that an ETF had been granted. Bitcoin shot up immediately, almost 30%. And then it came out as false within minutes and then just plummeted right back down. So I think it really showcases that there's still a lot of interest in cryptocurrencies. And that's really kind of at the behest of the new, shiny toy, shiny object in Web3, which has been AI. So it's actually interesting to be here today with one of the founders of Wand.ai, Philippe. Very nice to meet you and very happy to see you again, sir. We had a great conversation in New York. And it was so engaging with how Wand.ai is kind of taking an approach to the AI space. And let's also take a quick second. Remember, AI is not new. ChatGPT kind of showed up and has been, the darling of the ball here ever since, because it kind of simply came awake and seems to work in capacities that have changed a lot of work-life balances, really changed a lot of industries. But AI and machine learning has been around for decades. And so there's a lot of innovation that's coming from a lot of people other than OpenAI. I think that Philippe and his team have absolutely showcased some really amazing technologies. And so I wanted to take a second and really do a deep dive into not just what they're building, but why, and also kind of where we see this technology going overall. So Philippe, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate having you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Fabulous. So if you wouldn't mind, let's just kind of take a few steps back and start with a little bit earlier in your career. One of the things we very much believe in is the 10,000 hours. You've been in and around this field for quite a while. So if you can kind of walk us through kind of, successes and challenges along the way and where the theses kind of came to for Wand.ai, that would be great.
Absolutely, Jay. So way back when I started a company called MetaMatrix, that was the first virtual database of its kind. Built it for Wall Street, but very, very quickly expanded into defense and intelligence. And the idea was to get users to access any content type through a simple SQL code. You're able to get through tens of thousands of sources in quasi-real time with almost linear scalability. That was quite a big invention, but it was stopping at the data retrieval. Then acquired a company out of London called SmartStream, and we were very interested in how to leverage RPA and AI to streamline processing for our clients. And so that RPA was getting very, very limited benefits. And where you're getting 5-10%, but never the 30-40% that were promised by the vendors. And got really thinking very hard on how we can leverage AI to improve the processes. Then joined a very large core banking software company. And I put together an AI strategy there and look at least 100 vendors in the AI space. And I didn't like the way they had built their stack. Everything was hardwired to use case, not scalable, not able to run other use cases. And the infrastructure was at least 95% of what the development effort had been. And so I told the board, listen, if we were to buy 10 of these companies, we're going to end up with 10 incompatible frameworks. None of them can scale. And it's going to be a mess. So let me go find an end-to-end AI framework. And I looked for a year, and I couldn't find one. I mean, the hyperscalers had built obviously a bunch of very, very powerful services, but there was still a lot of stitching that need to be done to get each use case up and running in the order of at least 100K lines of code each line. So that was not what I was looking for. I was looking for a true end-to-end framework, and joined one of the leading vendors in the AI space, and because I thought they had built an AI framework, and in reality, the client had to do a lot of the work themselves. I mean, it was a minimum 12 to 18 months project, lot of data scientists, and according to Gartner, only 15% of AI projects succeed. And talking to clients of all the large vendors like Palantir, their robot, etc. There's not many success stories with AI. So it was that bad that a couple of years ago, AI had become a bad word, and there was so many failed projects and hundreds of millions of dollars spent. So hooked up with my co-founder now 3 years ago, And with this common vision that to get AI to market and to make AI successful, it couldn't go through the data science teams. I mean, data scientists are fantastic to solve hairy problems. But if you are trying to predict churn or doing fraud prediction, these are well-known problems that we can sort out generically. So we build a system that is a no-code platform, allows end users to build their own AI solution without, again, writing a single line of code and getting so leveraging both Gen AI and machine learning. So that's how we got to build the company. Again, the vision was and is to empower the business users, people who use Power BI or Excel and have access to a ton of data sitting, LinkedIn, Zendesk, Salesforce, HubSpot, SAP, Snowflake, and they don't have the tools to access their data. And the end game, they spend around 30 to 40% of their day looking for data. So we think we can reduce that 30 to 40% to literally zero.
I think there's some really interesting numbers that you just threw out there, and I want to take a second and talk through them. And the first one was that 85% of AI projects, internal AI projects fail. And I think that I agree with that number. And you said that, during our conversation when we were in New York, and I actually looked it up, and I think it's higher. I think it's 90%, failure rate.
MIT says 90%.
Yeah, because there's McKinsey's done some reports and Gartner had some reports, but it's true. It really has become a bad word. When I saw products, in prior years that said AI enabled, I'm like, oh God, it's like anything before a touch screen. When Apple put out a touch screen, in the first iPhone, people are like, oh my God, it works. But if you had said, hey, there's a touchscreen on the BlackBerry, I was like, I don't want it. I don't want to deal with that. It's terrible. It's a horrible experience. So, how did you look at that number, which is, almost insurmountable? It's you stand bigger chance of failure and say, this is the direct problem we're going to tackle.
So a lot of issues. So the way. So first, the architecture from the incumbents were built 5, 7, 10 years ago. So, and if you look at the advancement in AI research for the last couple of years, if you have not written your stack completely according to Gen AI principles, I'm not sure you have a very bright future. Frankly, it takes too long, too much money. I mean, you don't want to have to spend 18 months, 24 months to have something on the screen and spend $5-10 million. That doesn't work. If you're a large firm, you probably have 1,000 use cases in front of you. And if you ask the data science team to produce 1,000 use cases, you're going to be there for 10 years. The business is going to wait for 2 weeks, 2 days, whatever, but they're not going to wait any longer. They want results now. And it's such a heavy-duty arms race that when you raise a bar for a firm, the competitors have to adjust immediately. I mean, you get so much, obviously the promise of AI is there. So the 10-50% successful projects are incredibly successful. There was an example of Goldman Sachs who had a spectacular project on the sales desk, replacing the entire desk with bots. Super successful. But it's Goldman Sachs, right? So for the rest of the market, it's mission impossible. So you really need a new set of new set of tooling to get to market, and it cannot be, hey, it's going to be 18 months and $5 million to get one use case up and running. That doesn't work anymore.
In the world of big data, and I've run a couple large companies. I've consulted with multi-billion-dollar companies, and I've seen the struggles. So the other statistic you said is 30% of someone's day is just looking for data, looking for information. And I think that's a really relevant, point to kind of hit on, because, like for, yWhales, we have, corporate Dropbox. So we have everyone integrated, everyone linked. I have admin access so I can see anything and everything that's there. But I still spend quite a bit amount of time looking for, where's this file? I don't even know what this thing was named. I remember we had a conversation, because we have 5 or 6 projects going on. You extrapolate that out to some of these larger companies that have, hundreds of initiatives that are, in process a single day. And it's almost impossible just to get a status report. So, having everything fed into kind of your own, search engine, your own AI, your own analytics, bot makes a lot of sense. But how do you guys how do you kind of tackle that, big data problem into, a very easy interface? Because that's a problem that, as everyone's been trying to solve.
Absolutely, and dealing with large firms who have thousands, if not tens of thousands, data sources. I was joking with the CIO of a large bank a few days ago. I said, last time you checked, you have 17,000 databases. On Elab said only have 16,000. So good luck getting a notion what is a client, what is a transaction, what is a product. I mean, it's really distributed across so many sources, and that's just databases. Yeah. And you have the data sitting inside the applications, and that's on-site application. You also have data sitting in Salesforce or Zendesk. So it's really, that's where I think the success of Snowflake Databricks is absolutely, deserved, because they're solving a big part of that problem. The thing is, the data is still incredibly fragmented, and we have part of the invention at Wand is the ability to basically retrieve and analyze and map and cleanse and enrich that data on the fly. So if Zendesk calls a customer on Salesforce is client, and SAP calls it field X, we're going to understand the underlying data and map it using Gen AI to create these clever mappings. So we have the ability to get data out of anything. It could be a PDF file, it could be a CSV, it could be a Salesforce, SAP, Snowflake. It really doesn't matter. So a big part of the invention at Wand is the ability to understand and map that data automatically.
So let's just go right into Wand. You've seen the challenges. You spent the time, energy, and stress kind of seeing how it works, how the rest of the industry works. So talk to us a little bit about Wand, what your initiatives is, and kind of the phase of the project today. And as a disclosure, I've been using Wand now for I think about a week. So been able to play with it quite a bit. Did not get a coupon code, so I paid the $99 for the pro account, and I'll give you my thoughts and theses on it here in a minute. But really want to dive into kind of where you guys are today, and kind of how you believe that this is a product market fit for most.
Absolutely, Jay. So the mission of Wand is to allow business users, domain experts, be the masters of their own destiny. So the idea is to give them a no-code platform where through a chatbot, they can interact with any content source, internal or external, as if we were a single virtual source. And from there, ask any question. You're going to analyze the data, make predictions, to create charts. You can integrate with an existing application. You can be in Salesforce and asking questions to all these backend sources. We don't want to disrupt the current workflow of the users, so we can be embedded into any third-party application like Slack. But the idea is, in a matter of 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half hour, an hour, if the data set is very large, you can be up and running. So unlike an off-the-shelf LLM, where you're going to take a very long time and many millions, if not tens of millions of dollars to do the training of the LLM, we sit on top of third-party LLMs like Bard and Llama 2 on ChatGPT, but we don't train the LLM off the client data. It's too expensive. Because it's so expensive, you don't have real-time updates, and there's issue with the roles-based access. In LLM, you have access to everything, or you have access to nothing. So in a large firm, that doesn't work. You cannot have the entire staff looking at the HR data or looking at all the client contracts. So you need role-based permissioning. So we've solved this problem by creating a separate framework that leverages the LLMs for they're good for, external knowledge and conventional AI. We created our own technology to map and understand your data on the back end, again, any data type, and allow users to very, very simply interact with that data and make predictions. So what took 6 months, 9 months, 18 months, now it literally in the hands of the end users, it can be up and running in literally 10, 20 minutes if the data set is not very large, or it's a very large data set like an entire Zendesk or Salesforce large implementation. It could be an hour or two, but after an hour or two, you're in business, ready to go.
Yeah, and I can talk a little bit about the onboarding, because that was the thing is that, again, it's very simple to sign up, create an account. Wand.ai is up and running. It's not a white paper project at this point anymore. It absolutely works. And so the example I can give you that I tested is, one of my other businesses, I do have a number of commercial properties. I have a tenant who's on their fourth amendment of a lease. And for anyone who's ever gone through, some of these lease amendments that have been over a decade old, there's the original, second and third amendment, then there's the LOI, then there's a bunch of other data. And so there's about 4 or 5 different documents that I needed to reference to create a new draft of this. I'm not a lawyer. I'm certainly not a real estate lawyer. And so I just said, well, let's see if it can even create that draft for me. And quite simply, all I did is dropped all the PDFs in, took, literally 2 minutes. I had them all in a Dropbox folder, dropped all those into a brand new chatbot, asked the chatbot a bunch of questions, and then, asked it to write me a fourth amendment based on some very specific criteria. And it absolutely 100% spit out a draft that I went through, made a couple changes, sent over to the other party, their lawyer reviewed it, made a couple, lawyer-ish type changes that a lawyer is going to make, just to a couple nuanced things, but it was done. And so I can say that I saved myself a couple $1,000s, and quite a bit of back and forth time to be able to turn something around like that. So I think that was a fabulous use case for me on a very just, what's a quick use of a lot of my personal data, not public data of, asking, how do I bake a cake or something like a lot of people do with chat GTPs. So with that being a very simplistic model, how advanced could I get inside of Wand?
I mean, your use case is fantastic because it's also all about saving time and money and producing results in minutes. I mean, it's a beautiful use case. At the enterprise level, with clients using us for financial forecasting, for risk and compliance, for sales and RevOps, for marketing. So the use cases are what you describe is a single person use case, and it's exciting. If you expand that to a department, like a sales department, where you have incoming leads and you're trying to process these leads, and you're trying to create a profile on single prospect, and then pushing that prospect into Salesforce from stage 1 to stage 2. All this workflow can be fully managed within Wand. Just ask Wand, give me a profile of that prospect X, and it will tell you what business you're in, what does the management team look like, the revenue profile, if there are any merger and acquisitions, any adverse news, any positive news. You can create a profile in seconds of that prospect, and then say, hey, interesting, on your inside Slack, and you say, push it from stage 1 to stage 2 automatically in Salesforce, where you're still in Slack. And then from that, you say, hey, give me the names of the top 3 most probable people I should speak to at that prospect. And I say, hey, CISO, CTO, and head of compliance. And then it's going to go to hunter.io and find the emails and phone numbers of these 3 people. And then you say, hey, craft me an email for these people. And they say, well, the email is not good enough. How about you say something about the competition with more advanced in cybersecurity? And now you can craft something that's a little more punchy and should get the attention of the other side. And then that email is crafted, sent to the other side. And then you use Wand to schedule the meeting and prepare the pitch. And then everything to the actual proposal and the legal reviews can be handled from through interaction with Slack. So instead of having salespeople, spending, I mean, every time I sales team, it's incredible how much time people spend on LinkedIn. I mean, I think it's more than half the day. It's just, hey, is my contact at client X moving to company Y, right? Is my contact at client X befriended the sales manager, my direct competitor? So all these signals, I mean, you cannot do that by hand. The data is so big. You have to use Gen AI and machine learning to understand what's relevant to you as a user. And the data in Salesforce is good, but it's the data I already have in my head as a salesperson. I want to get both internal signals. I want to know what the interaction have been, if any, with the customer success team or the support team. I want to see if the contract is about needs to be renewed. So all these signals, then you need to traverse across external sources like Hunter, news sites, LinkedIn, as well internal data sources like a contracts database, ERP systems, CRMs, support system like a Zendesk, having everything managed automatically in a backend and generate automatic alerts for a salesperson or managing the workflow automatically is, I mean, it's a huge time saver. So as a sales manager, do you want salespeople to spend 4 hours on LinkedIn every day, or you want to get another 8 meetings with prospects? I mean, it's that simple. And that's at the department level. What was exciting now, you can get RevOps people engaged, get marketing people engaged, product manager engaged, get them involved in the same workflow, and leveraging AI across different departments, and then get finance also involved. So when you do sales forecasting, you do it off real data. I mean, computing customer sentiment, computing the probability of a deal closing of all the internal data you have of that specific deal. So all these workflows, I mean, will be life-changing for the companies, because it will just create incredible level of information flow and clever analysis and predictions across all these departments, and create, I think, an unprecedented level of efficiency. So starting with the 30-40% of the time that's wasted every day about refitting data, but then create efficiency about not wasting time on doing clever stuff and efficient, I mean, stuff that produce a return on investment versus just looking for data, which has zero value, obviously.
And I think, so I want to take a second and for anyone who is rushing right now to go test Wand.ai, but has not, but if you've spent some time with ChatGPT 4, with plugins, and right now, to give you an idea of the difference level between how far advanced Wand.ai is compared to the plugin shop is if I wanted to compare a PDF to I wanted to have ChatGPT 4, search a PDF. You can do something like your PDF or askyourpdf.com, and you can put a PDF in there, and then it will reference just that one PDF. And if you want to do a Bing search on there, then you have to switch the plugins and say, okay, now we want to do this, and please search this site and find this information. And if you want an external data source, then you're out of luck. And so when you build a wand, or you guys call them wandies, which is, I'm just going to say, you guys need a marketing someone to come in and to erase that. My least favorite part is creating wandies. But when you create your bot, it's dump as many PDFs as you want, hundreds, thousands, it doesn't care. Just dump them all into here's the document repository. Okay, websites, great. Do you want the entire site, or do you want just an individual link? And how many do you want? Doesn't matter. Keep just dumping them in. And then lastly is these data sources. You go, so you kind of work your way over across the tabs to create the data set, for your wand. And so it really does take 5 to 20 minutes, just depending on how many data sources you want. You hit update. Mine yesterday, I think the first one took like 90 seconds. I did a more advanced one where I just threw a lot of things at it. I think it took like 3 minutes. And then from there, it's like, here's your chatbot. It's any questions you want to ask about those documents, those websites. It's cross collaborating, going back and forth. Other than, probably have some issues with my own prompting language. It was all there. And I think that's the speed of which that, it's no code. I let one of my other team members play with it, who is not, had no idea what they were looking at. I said, just go ahead and make this. I walked them through it. And they made a chatbot, and I said, okay, I've got to delete that one, because I need to, move some things around in the account. They go, no, I'm already using this. Too late. It's mine. So I think there's, really that speed is what you guys have been able to showcase. And so I can validate that it does work, and it's very quick and simple and easy.
I appreciate that. Something we didn't really address is if you look at off-the-shelf LLMs. Of course, I mean, we sit on top-shelf LLMs, but we've created our own technology alongside that. But there's issues with inconsistency. So you ask a question today, you get an answer. It could be a good or bad answer, but you get an answer. Tomorrow you ask the same question, it's a different answer. And then the next day it's a different answer again. And at the end price, that's just, a non-starter. So the fact you have no role-based security, huge issue, no real-time update, huge issue, but inconsistency is a big problem. And on top of that, you have hallucination problems. We have solved the hallucination problems. We don't hallucinate. We have technology that will make sure that we always refer back to the source. If you want to block the internet access, we only get to your data and nothing else. And that combination of, again, roles-based access, no hallucination, consistency, and real time, I think makes it a very, very compelling argument for the enterprises of our levels. We have clients who have 10 million sales and clients who have 10 billion sales or more. So it works at any level. And I think the the time to market is just stunning. I mean, we're talking to a lot of large firms. I mean, again, the business is tired of spending hundreds of millions of dollars every year on seeing 3 use cases a year. That world is done. I think they want three use cases a day. And as your coworker mentioned, I mean, once you start using it, there's no going back. Right? I mean, it's just. I mean, and the only thing, if you know Excel or Power BI, you're good. You're good to go. I mean, there's zero training on Wand. Just plug your data. Again, complex data structures, PDFs, as you mentioned, JL websites. Then there's SAP. It really doesn't matter. You're up and running in no time.
So I think the point that I really want to hash in now, and it's the number one thing that people ask me when I recommend it. It's a thing that's kind of out there, which is data security, being able to silo your data. Because right now, whatever prompt you put into ChatGPT, it's out there for the world. If you link a PDF on any of these other things, it's out there for the world. So there's a lot of data being exposed, a lot of data leakage. By people using these inappropriately. So, with Wand being an enterprise tool, how are you guys managing that data silo? And is all the information I just put in there, which, is, HR and payroll and stuff related, is that all safe just to my account and my eyes only?
Yeah, so the answer is absolutely yes on several levels. So one, in terms of deployment, you can have a SaaS version, VPC on premise. In the large enterprise world, is mostly on premise. In terms of leakage, there's zero leakage because we don't train the LLM with your data. So there's no queries, no data, no results shared with anybody. It stays within the Wand framework. And even a SaaS version, no Wand employee can ever see your data or your models. We also GDPR compliance as well, SOC 2 compliance. And we also offer role-based permissioning. So if you plug into an HR system or Zendesk or SAP, you will only see what you're authorized to see. So we really, we built Wand for the enterprise, and we started that out in financial services, and with some of the most stringent requirements. As strong as you would get in the retail community, and we've been vetted by some of the largest players in the world. So we feel confident that again, zero leakage, roles-based access on the fact you can, if you don't like the SaaS version, you can build it, deploy it on your own network or on premise. I think we'll make any CISO happy with the security level.
So where are you guys at in your roadmap today? You're still young, you're still innovating, and really I would say as far as on the innovation curve, I think AI is just getting going. So we'll talk in a little bit of a second about where we think AGI is coming. But as far as Wand and where you guys feel you're at in kind of your early roadmap, are you confident in your capabilities today? Do you still have some big hurdles over the next few quarters you're trying to tackle, or how are you guys feeling about the product as it sits on the market today?
Yeah, sure. So actually, we did two versions last year. The first version was mostly predictive platform, and it was launched exactly a year ago, and we got close to half the Fortune 500 to test that platform, the alpha and beta version. So it was stellar success with thousands of users. We also have built a community on LinkedIn happens to be the fastest enterprise AI community on LinkedIn. And we have more engagement than I think number 2 to 10 combined over last 8-9 months. So very active community, and through that we get a lot of inquiries to come to us. That was version 1. Version 2 came out 3 months ago, and it's a combination of Gen AI together with machine learning. Again, with all the attributes I mentioned before, but the uniqueness having the ability to integrate any data set and make prediction of that data set immediately is super powerful. And you can ask anything with the chatbot. You can ask predict churn, but you can say, hey, give me a scatter plot of clients in the retail bank, and give me the income versus against the credit score. You can ask. It's really free-form questions. So we have more than 12,000 users now, individual users. Again, firms of all sizes, all sectors. Again, we started in financial services, but we have clients in manufacturing, in telco, a lot of in healthcare as well. So it's really spanning all industries. and spanning all departments. So from again, HR, finance, sales, operations, risk and compliance with clients, and thousands of use cases across all these different departments. And in terms of the community, I mean, we're working with Steve Norrie, who was the number one AI influencer on LinkedIn. He has, I think, 1.5 million followers on LinkedIn. Has been helping us both in terms of defining the product roadmap, as well as getting the message across to the world. So we're doing product-led growth PLG, and it's really working pretty well.
That's amazing. So let's kind of, take a second and let's just go way out into the future. So I think we've, again, you guys have a product, it works. Anyone who has any questions about, this conversation that we're having, just literally just go to Wand.ai and play with it. I think it really showcases itself very well. But let's, kind of investments into a system, into a platform like this, you kind of want to hear, especially from the founders, like, where is this going? And so, there's a lot of promises for AI, things like, artificial general intelligence, as you can probably educate me on. What your thoughts and meanings on that is, how far do you believe, we're going to see this cycle here, within, the next 3 to 5 years, of artificial intelligence? Like, do we believe we'll get to actual just, you turn on your screen and your Wandy has just been doing work in the background to prepare reports and things that it thinks are interesting, for you to execute on?
I mean, the vision is not lacking in ambition. We see ourselves to what Google has done on the search side, or ChatGPT does with GenAI on the retail side. We see ourselves as basically deploying AI at scale in the enterprise. We are a pure enterprise play. We have clients, we're B2B2C, but the end customer is always the enterprise. So as you say, I mean, we've built a business assistant. So the business assistant is going to be, actually, one of our clients described it, say, he is the smartest employee in the company. He knows everything about all the departments, all the documents, everything. And I can ask Wandy anything. And that's really the vision, is eliminate all the fruitless task of, again, the 30 to 40% of looking for data and not finding it, and asking HR what is the vacation policy this year, is what is the expense policy when I travel. There's zillions of queries that will be handled by Windy. That's the first step, is really getting a super clever, of information aware, your information as an enterprise business assistant can ask any questions. That's step one. Step two is really letting people analyze that data and predict the future, and that's a big promise of machine learning. And that Gartner stat about the 15%, MIT saying it's 10%. From what you have seen, talking to hundreds of clients about GenAI, I've yet to find a single one that's really in production with GenAI. Not one. So I think the success rate. I don't have the MIT or Gartner to back me on that stat, because he's only talking to probably 200 or 300 clients in the last 6 months. I think 0%. I think GenAI is fantastic. ChatGPT is fantastic. It's fantastic for a casual retail user. These are not tools that are ready for prime time in the enterprise. That's where we come in. We make GenAI and machine learning ready for enterprises of all sizes.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a single enterprise, on this planet that can operate without, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and you're quite simply putting, this AI chatbot right in there in the middle of it, saying, it can eventually get to consumers, but it's really designed for B2B, E2B, so enterprise to business, kind of collaboration. So, and again, for what I can say, for multifaceted businesses where I have, I've got two main ecosystems and entirely different, one of them is real estate. So I've got a residential brokerage, mortgage and title company, and that's a one massive business with its own infrastructure. And I have yWhales, which is just, a global chaotic, we've got everything in the world going on. And so it's very hard for me to kind of keep track of all the documents. I've got emails flying in, hundreds and hundreds a day. And so the thought of, a personal Jarvis, a personal, like, here's your daily report of everything coming in. I get some of that from a few sources, but it's like, it's only email or it's only, LinkedIn. It doesn't combine them all to like, here's what happened yesterday. Here's your to-do today, without a lot of manual stuff. So I love the concept of what you guys are doing, which is like dump it all in and let, AI figure it out and then be able to choose which LLM model I want to do. So, like I said, I love the product so far. It's nice to hear, how far you guys are going to continue to go with it. What's your thoughts as we kind of roll into closing for just overall, like, where's the industry going? Do we believe we'll get to true, artificial intelligence within the next 3 to 5 years, or is it going to be kind of still program the bots, queue the bots, and the bots, will respond in a better, more efficient manner as we go down this road?
I think. I think next 3 to 5 years, I think we can go from data analysis to actually, having calls to action. So the idea of having dashboard is nice, but hey, I'm going to before I go to my desk, I want to see, issues with clients. I want to see clients are going to renew next 3 days. And I want to see alerts about a deal that might blow up. So I think is being, having the Wand.ai engine monitor all that data on the back end and proactively give you alerts on calls to action. And I think that's what's so exciting is instead of being reactive and passive to, I see a news about my client on the FT or the Wall Street Journal. It's really getting the signals, in real time and being reactive and being first to react to the signals, first to react to client having issues and increasing clients' customer success and customer sentiment, creating a better method to do next best product, do the product pricing. So I think there's we're into the world where gut feel is going to be outdated very, very quickly. And the example of that client say, hey, Wandy is the smartest employee in my firm. That's the end game to help the domain expert make infinitely better decisions in a fraction of the time. So I think at the end there, I think AI is going to allow people to do 3-hour days instead of doing 12-hour days,
Wow.
and be a lot more productive in the 3 hours. And if they want to spend the 8 hours or 10 hours, they can. But at least all that painful data gathering, data analysis, is going to be shrunk to almost nothing.
You know what? I think that says a lot, and whether somebody has a 3-hour day or a 12-hour day, I think it's becoming pretty clear that businesses that do not start to explore, understand, and integrate some of these tools are absolutely being left behind because the efficiencies, and it's not designed just for the CEOs and the C-suite. It's not designed just for the data analysts. There really is almost a role for almost every single person in your company to utilize some AI tools. And, I think it's going to take a lot for everyone to understand, what is appropriate, what's not appropriate. The schools are struggling like crazy right now with this. So I'm glad to hear you guys are just, didn't say the word education once because that's going to be, that's going to be a struggle for them here. But I see a ton of value for students as well. Doing research papers, trying to understand, various concepts and, and the source materials are being very defined. So I see this affecting everyone, and I really am excited for you guys' vision. And Philippe, thank you so much for for coming on. Where can people reach you and learn more about Wand.ai if they want to kind of go forward with this?
Yeah, come to Wand.ai or email me at Philippe.Chambadal at Wand.ai, which is probably too long to remember. But if you go to info@Wand.ai, you'll get me on. Be happy to help. Just one last stat I want to throw at you. In the US, only 3% of businesses above $50 million in sales have one data scientist or more. 3%. So there's a lot of work to be done, and good luck finding the data scientists. Right? They all get hired by Google, Facebook, Apple, etc. And it's become a real problem. So that's where we come in and help businesses of any size with or without data scientists to become successful, more successful, and more efficient, leveraging Gen AI and machine learning.
Well, I love it. And real quick, you guys are active on LinkedIn. Is that an AI group that anyone can join?
Yeah, there's, I mean, so the one community, absolutely, and then you have the Steve Newry community. So one which is around machine learning and AI in general, and the other one is generative AI, a LinkedIn group. I think he has 1.5 million followers already on the Gen AI one.
Love it. Love it. yWhales, this is Philippe with Wand.ai. We will catch you guys next time. Take care. Talk soon.